Warning, this video is not meant for children under the age of 13. If you are under the age of 13, I highly recommend you have an adult watch this video with you. However, if you are under the age of 13 and watch the video without an adult, you forfeit your right to complain to the artist about the following. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Bootleg Brethren. Sorry that I've been away for so long, but this year has honestly been one of the more crazy for me. But besides all of that, I'm hopeful that you all are having a decent year of the apocalypse, and why not have a toy review just for the heck of it. Alright, so currently I am reviewing the mini masterpiece Hot Soldiers General Commander, or what I like to call him as Mini Masterpiece Nemesis Prime. Now please, I apologize for this sticker. It's essentially just a Dollar Tree sticker attached to this figure, but it's honestly not that bad, so I don't mind it. But anyway, why not get into the figure? So this figure is based off of everyone's favorite Decepticon counter character, Nemesis Prime. And it's honestly not that bad of a figure, to be honest. Let me just get the accessories off. But honestly, it's really not that bad of a figure, even though it is very small. But that's kind of the point of this kind of figure. And the painting and detail that is sculpted into this thing is actually really nice. And the plastic that they use is very, very dense and high quality. So whenever you pick it up and you feel it, it honestly feels quite strong, and if you shake it, there's really not a lot of problem you can have with it. You also get this lovely, I don't think the camera will pick it up, it's got these lovely crimson eyes, and I also love the rose tint windows, which are really nice, and this ghostly white is honestly quite good. But however, most of this figure isn't painted. The only things really painted that I can tell are painted on this figure is the area here on the head, and this little waist plate here, and these bumpers here on the back. And when you go to the back of this figure, you can actually see that the profile is very, very appropriate. It's not too flat, however, it's nice and kibble-free. And this figure actually does come at a very decent price point, because most Masterpiece Transformers nowadays are kind of suffering from the whole accessory syndrome. So accessory syndrome is this, what I like to call, the whole, you give a figure a bunch of accessories to make the price point a lot more difficult to be affordable. But with this guy, he's very small, and he's also very affordable for the accessories that he gets. So the accessories that he does happen to get is you get the figure, you get his blaster gun, which is also molded in this lovely black plastic, and it's very sturdy, and also is small. It's got a peg where you can attach small effect parts to it, and it kind of slides nice and easily into his fist, and it sits quite nicely there. He also comes with this absolutely delectable clear cherry red axe, which also, instead of his fist getting stuffed into the forearm, you can just slide it over the fist, and you get that lovely cherry red axe. And that plastic is also very tough, and it is indeed sharp. So if you are indeed playing with this figure, there are points of this figure that are actually very, very sharp, especially the parts of the axe and the parts, and especially the parts on the tips of the ears. Let me get him back into a more decent stance. But I'll have to move him out of the way, so then we can get to the other part of his accessories, because he also comes with a little roller. And this roller also has the ability of, well, first of all, it's molded in this lovely gunmetal gray plastic, and it's this lovely red light piece, which is really pretty. And it's got these rollable tires, however, they don't really roll that well. So, but the sculpting and the detail put into it is really nice, and it also gives you this peg here that you can take the gun and just plug it in to get this daft little roller tank. And not only do you get roller, but you also get an anti-aircraft gun, which, sadly, the hinge joint at the base of the anti-aircraft gun is not that solid, so it's kind of difficult to get it to stand up, so I'm just going to quickly put it in its retracted mode. And this one actually is, this anti-aircraft gun is really nice. The plastic's pretty good, however, other than that hinge piece, all these other hinge pieces on this figure are very, very tight. Well, they're not tight, they're just strong enough to hold a pose. And also you get a hinge joint here where you can open this cockpit, and if you had a minifig, you could probably put a minifig in here. Luckily, he doesn't come with one. The only real painted parts on this figure are the gun barrels, or the blasters, and these wheels don't actually roll, which is a shame. But we might as well go into the posability of this figure after we get to the last part of the accessories, where I will move these two out of the way, where you get the battle station, which is essentially the trailer. And this is a really, really nice trailer. You can actually see all the detail put into it, and this lovely tiling. And this peg here is meant for the anti-aircraft gun, and I find that this actually sits more snug this way. The anti-aircraft gun sits more snug that way. However, with that hinge piece at the base, it's kind of difficult to get it to stand up and stood up, unless you close the top. So sadly, this is as good as it's going to get for the anti-aircraft gun, but it's definitely not that bad. Plus, you can also have roller on the table as well. And then, of course, your character himself. And this whole set here, I got on on TF Wiki. I was going for the Sky Pillar, and they didn't have, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I really like what Hot Soldiers did with this whole set, and this whole set actually is around $80, and it's based off of the MP10 and MP12 designs. However, it's got most of the same accessories as like MP44, which for those who don't understand that, MP44 is 8 times the price of this whole set here for pretty much the same stuff. But not only do you get the anti-aircraft gun, the roller, the gun, the axe, and the trailer, but he comes with a very tiny, oh crud, a very tiny matrix of leadership, and it's molded in this really nice silver plastic, and this painted red piece is pretty nice too. However, there are some areas on it that could have been painted better, but I'm not complaining because the detail put in this thing is really nice, and also the fact that he comes with it is just astonishing. So I will close up his windows, and then we will get into the posability of the anti-aircraft gun. So with the anti-aircraft gun, you do get a hinge joint at this antenna here, and also a rotation here at this antenna. You also get a rotation and hinge joint at the base of the claw arm, a hinge joint at the middle of the claw arm, and nothing at the actual claw. That previously mentioned hinge joint at the cockpit. You also get this rotation here at the guns, which is a full 360. It's a little loose for my taste. You also get a rotation at the base of the anti-aircraft gun, and a bend, well, a hinge joint here at the base, along with a hinge joint here at the in the middle of this stick here, and a very loose hinge joint at the base of the figure, along with a rotation at the base. However, none of these wheels can roll. However, Roller's wheels do indeed roll. They're just not that well. So, oh, well, fine. And then we also get to the trailer. It does have some kind of posability, but that's only for the vehicle mode, so I won't get into that yet. And then we finally get to our main boy himself, Nemesis Prime.
I mean, General Commander, what are you talking about? So, we of course have a ball joint at the head, can look left and right and up that far and down that far. You get a ball joint at the shoulder, allows for some movement, allows to go forward and all the way around. Also has a butterfly joint that allows it to do that, but it's also for the transformation. You get a rotation at the bicep and a bend at the elbow, which is kind of limited by this panel here. That's mainly due for the transformation. And you also get a rotation at the wrist. And that's all the posability for the upper part. So how about we get down to the legs and waist. So you get a slight rotation at the waist. However, it's a little loose on my copy, but I can deal with that. However, whenever you get it too far, it kind of looks silly. But also you get a ball joint at the leg, which this panel here doesn't actually work to move out of the way, so you can't get a really high kick. So yeah, you can't high kick. You can move forward that far, but move backwards that far. You do get a beautiful, well, there we go, nice spread. And you do also get an inadvertent ab crunch. But that ab crunch is kind of, actually that's really good for an ab crunch. I haven't seen an ab crunch like that on a figure this small before. You also get a rotation at the thigh and a bend at the knee. However, there's a situation where if you bend it too harsh, there's a peg back here at the back of the leg that it's supposed to snap into. It doesn't really like to stay there that well, so if you bend the knee, you've got to kind of press on that to bend the knee. And you also get a ball joint at the ankle, which is kind of limited by the side stuff, and you do get a toe bend, but in the opposite direction. And you get a pretty, get an okay pivot. So the posability on this figure is actually not that bad. However, it only works in very select poses and movement kind of styles. However, all this detail and all of this plastic kind of makes up for that. And also, we shall now get into the transformation. So let's get into it. And it's honestly not that bad. However, we're not yet done with this transformation, as we've got this to deal with. So I'm going to move him out of the way, and then we'll get to the trailer. And then you also have the truck mode. Now to get the truck and the trailer to sit together, there are these little pegs right here. So those holes, and there are the pegs right there attached on a rotating swivel. So that right there is the trailer hitch. And this is very finicky. So you're gonna have to line it up and then just... And here we have Nemesis Prime in his truck mode. And I have to say, this is a really nice truck and trailer. And it also comes with as much rolling and rotating possibility as it needs to be. Nemesis's truck mode is actually a lot of fun to transform to. And also the windows can still open, so you can remove the dead matrix of leadership. And also, the trailer has another cool feature with the anti-aircraft gun. And I really like what kind of engineering they did with this figure. So it brings a lot of joy to me to find that this masterpiece figure is at an affordable price range with all sorts of fun accessories and all sorts of cool gimmicks and a really fun transformation as long as you're gentle and slow with it. Size comparisons, we've got an unlabeled bottle of super glue. We have a Xenomorph. We have the Pop Vinyl Godzilla figure. And the masterpiece Nemesis Prime. And I have to zoom back just to show you the size difference. So I hope you all enjoyed this new video of the Bootleg Brethren. Please like and comment and tell me what other things you might think I'd take interest in. And I will see you all in the very next episode of the Bootleg Brethren. Also, if you're interested in this, I recommend you check out TF Wiki, because that's where I found him, and he's actually at a very decent price range of $80. So you won't be spending too much of a buck on him rather than the MP44. But other than that, thank you all for joining me, and I will see you in the next episode of the Bootleg Brethren. Bye-bye! We're almost at 100 subscribers. Huh. We make it to 100. I make a tutorial.